This journey begins in Mexico, and I take that as a very good omen to start any adventure, since the beautiful and magnificent Aztec country not only has always welcomed me with open arms, but also it has been a very important part in my entire career. Mexico is an extremely beautiful country. Their people are always candid, grateful, and very kind. I have been in multiple places in Mexico, yet this is my first time in the great state of Jalisco. A very good friend tells me that I'm now officially getting to really know Mexico, since Jalisco represents the very essence of what Mexicans stand for. Jalisco es Mexico. If you ever heard of mariachi or drank tequila, you gotta thank Jalisco for that. El Estado Libre y Soberano de Jalisco is one of the 32 federal entities in Mexico, and is located in the western part of the country with a population approaching the 9 million inhabitants. That includes a significant foreign population from the US and Canada.
Located in the lovely Puerto Vallarta,
right in front of the Pacific Ocean. Don't get me started with food. If the Mexican gastronomy is known worldwide, then Jalisco is at the center of it. Our journey begins in their capital city, Guadalajara. Guadalajara is an international center of business as well as one of the most developed regions in Latin America. Therefore, a perfect place for geek hunting. Our hunt begins on a Saturday morning at a very well-known flea market, El Cultural. Known as Tianguis, it literally refers to an open-air market, and this word comes from the Nahuatl, which is an indigenous language spoken by the Aztec. So these open markets have been pretty well established for multiple generations, and are known for their multicolored product, large crowds, food, and varieties. However, we're on the hunt for plastic geek-related gold. Right across the Guadalajara Museum of Paleontology between Avenida 16 de Septiembre and Calles Independencia Sur, La Plaza Juárez gets taken over by hundreds of patrons and vendors looking for treasures every single Saturday. It is the equivalent of 6 blocks, simply loaded. We got a tip from a very good friend that we should go as early as possible, and although all the vendors are prepared, ready for the typical hagglings of choppers fishing for a bargain, I'm told that my foreign look won't certainly help when trying to get a good deal. The vendors will assume that I'm either carrying US currency or that I don't speak the language, and that organically raises the asking price. I'm somewhat at a disadvantage. As an openly confessed plastic crack addict, I have to restrain myself to a very tight budget before walking in these hunts. Otherwise, the currency exchange will play games in my head and therefore unleash my addiction without breaks, and I will most likely overspend. Therefore, don't be surprised or don't cringe if you see me looking away from really good deals. At the end of the day, I can't buy them all, but trust me, I want to. Upon arrival, I come across plastic crack, but not necessarily the good stuff, yet. The Tianguis is filled with modern toys of every type. Lego, superheroes, dolls, you name it. Even very artistic custom-made figures. My friend, as always, was right. This place is filled with toys. It is mind-blowing to see blocks and blocks of vendors loaded with plastic. I start noticing patterns. Transfer C, after close to 40 years, remains a strong contender among the options. Here, however, as in the rest of the planet, is known as Mazinger Z, and the animated series had a major reception in South America during the 80s. Thundercats, although not my main thing to collect, seems to be abundant, and the Mexican company MacPlay had the license to distribute this famous cats back in the 80s. However, they started distributing the figures that Rainbow Toys was making in the UK. That's why, for the untrained eye, noticing these differences might be challenging. I must admit, I do not have such expertise. Eventually, MacPlay manufactured some of the figures and vehicles on Mexican soil with a very specific difference in comparison to their LJN counterparts in the US. And those foreign variants are exactly what I'm looking for.
Este es el mexicano. Sí, y traigo su espada y traigo un anillo para checar que sí le prenden los ojos. Mire.
No, te creo.
Y este también es mexicano.
Este Foot Soldier, ¿en cuánto lo estás vendiendo?
3,000. Este es de una juguetería aquí local que se llamaba La Colonial. Todavía existe, está aquí como a 7 cuadras. Y nomás que pues ya no trae nada de esto. Y es McPlay por México.
Hecho en México.
Sí.
Get all those details. ¿Y a ese cuánto me dijo?
950 el reptil.
Ya.
Igual si te llevas varias piezas te doy mejor precio.
I have a very specific goal in this hunt. G.I. Joes made in Mexico by the company Auriken, but they are incredibly hard to find in the wild nowadays. I am also hunting for the infamous Star Wars figures, also made in Mexico by the company Lili Ledi, but identifying them in the wild and in these circumstances is pretty much rocket science. I really don't want to buy a regular figure thinking that it's a Mexican variant, so if it doesn't have very distinct differences, I'll let it go. Last but not least, in my hunt list are the Masters of the Universe figures made in Mexico by the company Aurimat. So these are my main goals. However, there is also a very appealing target that even surpassed any of the previous goals and is something that you should know when hunting in South America. If a Mexican company had the license and therefore the molds to manufacture figures in Mexican soil back in the day, then most likely when the line was done, those molds vanished into the back alley and turned into a very colorful and appealing black market. The bootlegs market in Mexico, it's full of them. Sometimes it's not even a repurpose of the illegal use of original molds, and it's simply reverse engineering, which in simple terms is basically when someone reproduces a figure using regular production samples. And this technique takes a toll on the scales and sometimes even on the sculpting details. We toy collectors love these weird things, and the Mexican bootlegs are very creative. Once again, Thundercats, this time bootlegs, makes an appearance.
¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo estás?
Bien. ¿Cuántos tienes?
300.
¿Y estos blancos?
Esos 100 pesos cada uno.
Oh, here we go. This Skeletor is so tempting. I know it's modern, but it still is so tempting. However, these white guys, they are very, very cool. This is basically the reverse engineering that I was referring to. And this time, they didn't even try to paint him up, which is so cool. The weapons are still even attached to the tree. They didn't even cut it. So this is basically like taking a little bite of what it was when this was made in whatever back alley operation, either here in Guadalajara or somewhere around in Mexico. This is beyond cool.
Este Skeletor está muy bonito.
As tempting as they are, I have to restrain myself.
¿Cuánto me dijiste?
300. Ese tiene imanes. Quítale los brazos.
¿Tiene imán?
La cabeza también.
¿Y este?
Ese 200.
Pero este es más viejito, ¿no?
Ese es más viejito.
¿Y estos los hicieron en dónde?
Este aquí en México.
¿Los de Tijuana o los de
En el DF.
En el DF.
En el DF. Así es.
¿Y este es más? ¿Qué tan viejo es este?
Ese noventero.
I want to pull the trigger on this Skeletor, especially the vintage one. I know I'm gonna regret it if I don't take them, but I have to stay on task. Like I said, vendors and people in general in Mexico are super, super friendly. I feel bad that he's giving me all this information for the video and I'm not pulling the trigger. Yet, in the corner of my eye, I catch a very, very tempting sight. Oh, here we go. I don't think I'm gonna let this one go. This looks like a prototype.
¿Cómo?
200.
200 pesos.
Es muy buena pieza. Ochentero.
Fully understand that it isn't, and it's basically a lazy attempt for a bootleg, but I can't leave this guy behind, so he comes home with me. Thundercats is not even on my priority list, and yet here we are. See what I mean when I'm trying to stay on budget by restraining myself? We keep strolling and the sun starts to get hotter, but the vibe of the place is contagious. Countless of souls looking for treasures, the aromas, the colors, and yet in the middle of it, we come across an incredible sight. I spot multiple targets, but the vendor is too busy with so many potential customers. And I don't blame him. The setup is beautiful, but at the same time, with so many things around, you have to keep an eye on everything, otherwise those figures will start working out. So much to see that you don't even know where to look at. This is definitely a beautiful sight. I can stand here on this spot for hours, and I don't think I'm going to be able to see everything. There's Eternium vibe all over the place. Like pretty much everywhere nowadays, Motu is strongly present. There seems to be a trend to replicate the vintage Los Amos del Universo boxes. I'm told that the figures are Mexican, yet the vendor admits that the box happens to be a reproduction. I currently collect the modern Origin line, but these are different. They are made and distributed by Mattel, and to the best of my knowledge, the figures are identical. However, due to Mexican regulations, the car is different than the version that we have in the US. And this is a dark road that I do not want to walk into. I already did that with Joe's and to some degree with Star Wars, and trust me, you open the floodgates the moment you take a tiny bite of these foreign cars. Speaking of darkness, I spot a very play with Darth Vader, but as I stated, unless you're highly trained experts on the differences between the Lili Ledi and the ones made in China, then this task becomes a Russian roulette. But guess what? Another member of the Thundercat universe gets my attention, and yet despite my strict focus on specific items, this big monkey steals my heart, and that is because it does look quite different from his American counterpart, and therefore it is most likely one of those sought after beautiful vintage Mexican bootlegs. Therefore, he's coming home with me too. So far, and I must admit, as usual, my finds are not aligned with my wanted list, and we covered a large portion of the market at this point. No Mexican Joes still, and it's hard to distinguish vintage Star Wars figures. And then, out of nowhere, a rare unicorn pops up. Mechas, kaijus, and a very popular vintage Japanese representative gets my complete attention.
Es en 3,000. Rayín. Van presto. Y está en muy buen tamaño, ¿eh? Sí, todo lo que vendo esto es para el mercado japonés. Sí. En 4.50. Wow. Tengo dos versiones. Esta es la versión vintage de los 80s. Y estos son más contemporáneos. Y tengo un Sofubi también, que este es más artesanal. Y ese es Glow in the Dark, ¿no?
Oh, sí, brilla en la oscuridad. Sí. Glow in the Dark. ¿Y los Ultraman en cuánto?
Los Ultraman 150, los Gachapon en 100. Y tengo ya de ahí en 800 el Shin Ultraman. O este que es como ya de diseñador, este sale en 8,000.
Sí. Felicitaciones.
No, gracias.
¿Y este, el Geta negro?
El Getter, en 2,500. Ese es Taito, marca Taito.
Ah, está espectacular.
Sí, sí, me gustan las versiones blancas.
Claro,
me
claro.
gusta me gusta mucho como hasta para decorar,
y así,
decoración.
Así negro,
sí.
Así negro se ve.
Sí, sí, sí.
Está chulísimo, ¿no?
Sí, y esto no es muy común acá en México, ahora sí que, pero sí hay mucha gente que le gusta.
¿Cómo? Yo lo he.
Sí, no hay No es muy común acá en México, pero sí hay mucha gente que le gusta.
¿Y dónde los consigo? ¿Era su colección personal?
Sí, empecé así como colección personal, pero porque aquí en México, en los 70s, la mayoría de las caricaturas y los shows de televisión eran japoneses.
Claro.
Entonces hay mucha influencia de eso acá. Entonces son caros, pero hay coleccionismo mucho.
Claro, claro.
Sí, es grande. Pero todo viene de Japón casi.
Todos son de Japón.
Sí.
¿Y esas prendas es usted
Este
también?
lo hago, estas son piedras naturales.
Ándale.
Sí, este es mi trabajo y este es mi hobby.
Qué bueno, qué bueno.
Sí.
O sea, esos eran de su colección.
Una parte, algunos, y a veces los voy rotando. Hay algunos, de repente encuentro una mejor pieza que me gusta más y vendo algunas para que la idea es que la colección se pague con la misma colección.
Ah, qué
¿no?
cool.
Sí.
Pues felicidades, están muy
Gracias,
chidos.
gracias.
¿Estos son suyos también?
Sí. Sí, ahí tengo un poco de todo, Power Rangers. Son bootleg mexicanos.
Qué bonito.
Sí, ese es un bootleg mexicano. Es el mismo molde de los 80s, pero esto es contemporáneo.
¿Y este en cuánto lo vende?
En 40.
Está de lo más lindo eso.
Sí, es el boss.
I always said that the toys are the glue, but the real gems are the collectors behind it. Just like in kindergarten, all that it takes is a pretty cool toy to immediately bond with a new kid on the block. I'm almost calling it a day at this point. My backpack is loaded with stuff that I wasn't even expecting to have. Yet this experience has been super fun. And as we approach one of the exits, I spot some very cool plastic crack.
Este también es mexicano. Lili Ledi es él.
This is the stuff that I've been looking for. That Nikto looked weird enough, and I can tell the differences clearly. That Lando looks somewhat interesting, and I have a small run of variants back home, so I'm pulling the trigger on this one as well.
Le cortaron la cabeza al doctor y le pusieron a este.
This guy is pretty cool. I love when the passion for collectibles is so organic.
Este también es Lili Ledi.
I spot something really, really cool that I didn't notice before.
Ya. ¿Y estos que están?
Now, here you don't have to be an expert to notice the difference. You just have to buy it.
80s y 80s. Por eso estoy pidiendo 700, 500 y 500. Pero son mexicanos.
Oh yeah, this little piggy right here is exactly the type of stuff that I was looking for. Bingo. I can really call it a day now. But I think there's more.
Mexicano también es el Mecanic, por Aurimat.
Hecho por Orimat, pero oye, tu puesto tú eres uno de los duros acá, ¿no?
Pues más o menos, ya tengo 25 años aquí yo vendiendo.
Tienes 25 años acá
Sí. Sí. ¿Dónde nos visitan?
De Florida.
Ah, ok, un saludo.
Ajá, Florida.
Ángel, ¿cuánto sale?
Ese 1100. Sí.
¿En cuánto tienes Mecanic?
Ese lo traigo en 900, pero es Aurimat. Este también es Aurimat. La Estila. Este también es Aurimat, pero está incompleto. Le falta lo de aquí
Sí, le faltan
y el
las
mazo.
piezas.
Sí.
¿Y qué precios tienen estos?
Esta te vale 700. La tila. Esto es 900. ¿Y qué más traigo? Ese strip siempre está incompleto.
Sí. Está alucinante su spot, caballero. Y todos estos son
Son Aurimat, es pues se caracteriza el Aurimat porque el
sí.
plástico comía uno, se derretía.
Claro. ¿Y ese en cuánto?
Motu was number 4 on my list, and these guys right here might at least somewhat complement the lack of Star Wars and Joe.
¿Y cuánto pide por estrato?
150.
Ah, está
También
rotito
es-
acá. A ver.
Sí, ese está otros tratos mexicano.
Pues, qué
También
locura.
este también es mexicano, miren. Este también. El americano traía la palanca en color rojo.
Ajá.
Y el que hacían aquí en Tijuana, México, era este.
Ese es el hecho en Tijuana.
Ajá,
¿no?
los Babamex que le llaman.
Ajá.
Es ese.
¿Y cuánto está pidiendo por este?
Ese 400 pesos. Nada más que el detalle que siempre los ojos se le despintan.
Sí, claro. Pues está alucinante. Ya ni sé qué hacer con tantas opciones.
No se apure.
No, definitivamente estoy interesado en estos dos, ¿eh?
Sí, luego también este también el C-Trip es viejito. Este también el Bosque, Son vintage que le llaman.
Sí.
Este sí es más nuevo.
Ya el Roger se fue para el demonio con esta compra.
También agarramos dólares, ¿cómo no?
¿Qué precio tienen las playeras?
200, amigo, todo es nuevo y original.
Gracias.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias.
We leave El Tianguis El Cultural super happy. Tomorrow, we'll go to the biggest flea market in Latin America. That is correct. Indeed, the biggest one, not just in the country, but in all Latin America. Let's see if I find the Mexican Joes that I'm looking for, more Lily Eyes, and who knows, maybe more Thundercats. Thank you for watching. I sincerely hope you like these videos, and the best way to support us is to share this video with someone that you think we might like it. If you want to support us a little bit more, please check all the links below and see if you find one of the options attractive. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, all the good stuff, and once again, thank you for watching.